West Virginia Mountaineers take it on the chin in the very first Big 12 game of the 2023-24 basketball season as the Houston Cougars roll 89-55 over the Mountaineers. Paul and I are going to talk about this, what went wrong, and can it be fixed? So stick around, because we're going to do that right after this word from our sponsor.
This episode of Hoops in the Hills is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for. Check out our inventory across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com, or you can come in person today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you.
What is up, guys? My name is Couz.
And I'm Mountaineer Paul.
And we present to you another episode of
Hoops from the Hills.
Guys, this is not an episode we wanted to do today. Matter of fact, we almost didn't even do it because this game was an absolute as John Rothstein would say, the epitome of brutality. So shout out to John Rothstein.
Yeah.
But Paul, Mountaineers got absolutely manhandled today. 89-55 in Houston. What the heck happened?
Yeah. Well, there's a combination of a bunch of things. Other team had more talent. That's number one. The other team's got a lot more continuity, a lot more experience on the coaching staff. Kelvin Sampson's been around for a long time. That pressure defense really that we talked about on the show the other day with Parker really came to fruition. 12 turnovers in this game. But it was really more the disruption of the offense that is what this caused. And it bared itself out on the stat sheet. Against all odds, you'd have probably won some money if you'd have bet Pat Suminick to be your lead scorer today. And shout out to Pat Suminick for playing well 2 games in a row. That's one positive you can take.
Yeah.
Glad to see he's getting better because I really thought he could be a decent player when I watched him coming out. I talked about him in the beginning.
I remember that. I remember you being high on him.
So I'm glad he's coming around a little bit. But at the end of the day, this is a team with a lot of talent, not a lot of continuity. This team does not move the ball. Like we said, you and I talked off camera. There's one guy that really wants to move it, and that's Kerr. You've got a bunch of individual players that would be Raekwon, probably a star on any team. Noah is either a second man or a star on most any team. And unfortunately, this team hasn't had enough time to bond. Noah wasn't expecting to play this year. So who knows how much he was working on his game. I'm not saying he doesn't do that. Just saying, you're not expecting to play this year. It's reasonable to think he could have been slacking off just a little bit, just because it's going to be a whole other year before he plays. Now, he could have worked his butt off every day. I'm just making a point here that this has all happened just kind of all at once. All the distractions, all the snake bit. I mean, even Kelvin Sampson noticed that we were a snake-bitten team, obviously.
Right.
And it's almost insurmountable what all has happened, And I've kind of chalked it up to this team. The only way this team probably going to make the tournament at this point, and maybe we'll eat crow. Maybe they win 15 games down the stretch. Is to do it in the Big 12 tournament and maybe win out in the Big 12 tournament somehow when Jesse gets back, even though he'll be back before that.
Right.
But overall, and you couple all that with the inexperience on the coaching staff. Like there's literally 1, maybe 2 guys on that staff who have experience beyond a couple years.
Yeah.
There is no Bob Huggins to make in-game adjustments, and I think it shows. You can sit on the bench beside a guy for 17 years, but there's a difference between practice and application, right?
Yep.
And you can be a mentalist, like he said, and all that, and visualize all this stuff all you want, but actually doing it under pressure, I think, has been tough for Josh so far, and he's really looked out of his element a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, usually you cut your teeth like that at the lower level, right?
Yeah.
He's having to do it at the highest level in basketball outside of NBA. So it's really just an unfair situation all the way around.
And he's had to do it under circumstances that even the most experienced coaches would struggle with. You know what I mean? I mean, I kind of feel bad for Josh because, I mean, I would think other ADs and other coaches and other administrations throughout the country. Now, I'm assuming, this is all assuming he doesn't come back next year, right, to West Virginia. But he's out in the market looking for other jobs. I would imagine that other ADs and coaches are going to take that into consideration. But still, when you look at the resume that he is on track to build here, it's not going to look pretty. And I hope it doesn't impact him getting another job, but I'm worried that it might. And, I know he said he was playing with house money when this thing first started, but I don't know. I don't know if I totally agree with that 100%. I think the team is playing with house money at this point, but I don't know that he is.
Yeah, it can get bad to a point to where it could leave maybe a stain on his reputation.
Right.
I think that's what you're kind of getting at.
It is what I'm getting at. I just I have to go the long way to get there, but that's what I have to take the long curvy country roads to get my point across, Paul.
That's on brand.
Let's talk about the stat sheet for a minute. Let's look at the box score, man. I'm not sharing it on the screen at the moment, but just talking about it. West Virginia's leading scorer, like Paul said, was Pat Sumnick with 12 points. He did it on 6 of 8 shooting. Also had 5 rebounds. Leading rebounder was and Pat's played great, and I think he deserves more minutes going forward. By the way, he played the most minutes on the team today, 28. Leading rebounder was Josiah Harris with 6. The second leading scorer on the team was Noah Farrakhan with 9 points. So Pat was the only guy in double digits. 3-point shooting was atrocious, 17.4%. Atrocious. Quinn was 1 of 7. Kerr was 1 of 3. Kerr doesn't shoot them unless he's Kerr's a guy who usually takes good shots. Seth was 1 of 3. I mean, just had a lot of offers on there. But Paul, the one thing I had an issue with is they only had 10 assists, which is another thing you and I talked about off camera. They weren't moving the basketball, and you mentioned it in your opening too. No movement of the basketball. Guys just coming down, dribbling it 3 or 4 times, and chucking up shots. Houston is so good. You can't get away with that against bad teams, much less good teams like Houston.
Right.
They are going to exploit that and take advantage of that. And I mean, we saw West Virginia turn it over several times because they dribbled the ball too much and didn't pass it to the next guy. And I can't help but wonder if guys like Kerr Kriisa are getting frustrated. Guys that are used to winning. Kerr's used to winning. He's not lost a lot since he's been in college. This has got to be frustrating for him,
You're right down my alley with it, dude. I'm worried about the buy-in going forward.
Yeah. It's
is this team going to give up? I mean, it's scary to think.
Yeah. Now, when you look at Houston, very balanced. I mean, LJ Cryer was the lead scorer with 20. He always plays great against West Virginia. The announcers even talked about that. He was 4 of 7 from 3, though. Had a great day shooting the basketball. You had Francis, their forward, Javier Francis. He had a good day. Huh?
What'd you say? That rim rattling dunk.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was. Noah had a good dunk today too, though. But when you look at Houston's box score, I mean, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Houston. We could sit here and talk about how bad West Virginia was, but Houston's a really good basketball team. Got to give them props. They played really well. They played with a chip on their shoulder, as one of their players said in a post-game interview. But Javier Francis had a good day. 13 points, 5 rebounds. Sharp, they're Emmanuel Sharp. What a day he had. 8 points, but he had 7 rebounds. Was 1 of 2 shooting the ball. 1 of 2 from 3, rather. 3 steals, just a really good balanced game. I mean, I remember seeing him hit a couple really, really nice shots with a guy with hands in his face. Their point guard, Shed, had 8 points, also had 11 assists.
Yeah, he makes them go.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, and Shed had 4 blocks as a point guard, man. Just stat stuffer. And it just pretty much everything that could go wrong for West Virginia today went wrong. They didn't box out well again. Some fans on Twitter are questioning their effort. There were times I could say that would be fair, but again, I don't want to go that route necessarily. I think they were just out. I think they played against a team that was just a lot better than them today as a team. Period.
Right.
More physical. They were more physical than West Virginia, no doubt about it. And that's another thing. Do you think if Huggins was the coach, this team would be more physical than they are?
Yes.
Because he wouldn't give them a choice not to be. Right?
Absolutely.
So I just think that's also an issue, and I think that's also what's hindering some of the rebounding woes is the lack of physicality underneath.
Right.
But well, anyway, Paul, do you have anything else you want to say before we? We didn't have not a whole lot of meat on the bone on this one, guys. West Virginia just got destroyed, and there's not a lot.
Yep.
It's hard to say much else. But if there's anything you want to add, now's your time.
No, nothing.
But guys, don't forget to like. We always forget to do this early on, but don't forget to like, share, comment. All that helps the algorithm, help us get this channel up. It's a tough time to be a content creator for West Virginia basketball right now because it's just not the buzz is, we had a lot of buzz going into the season. We had a lot of buzz when Raekwon was announced to come back. The buzz is fading because this team is struggling so bad. But stick with us here at Hoops from the Hills, guys. We're going to continue to bring you content. We're going to try our best to make it as entertaining as we can, keep you informed of what's going on with West Virginia hoops. May even occasionally talk about something that's not West Virginia specific. It's more Big 12 specific, but stay right here, guys, and Hoops from the Hills. Our channels, Hoops from the Hills, Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, Couz's Corner. We got a lot of things potentially in the works this year that I think you guys are going to like. 2024 is going to be a big year for our channels. Let's just put it that way. And we're going to take the West Virginia or even all of college sports YouTube. We're coming, baby. As Dion would say, we're coming.
We're coming for it.
We're coming, baby. But anyway, guys, we couldn't do anything we do without you guys watching, without you guys commenting, without you guys liking, subscribing, all of that. Without you guys, we can't do this. So we thank you. Please keep that coming. And we appreciate it. With that being said, guys, we are complete. This episode is over and we're done.